That dog, I jumped over the table to the couch, man.
First and foremost, man, congratulations on everything. You've been grinding, you've been killing it.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate that.
And
as YNW Melly's retrial approaches in September, the tension surrounding his case continues to grow exponentially. The rapper, whose real name is Jamel Maurice Demons, already faces serious charges related to the 2018 double murder of his friends Sack Chaser and YNW Juvie. Those charges alone could result in a life sentence if convicted, but recent developments have complicated matters further. In addition to the charges of double murder, Melly is now facing additional, equally severe charges for witness tampering, conspiracy, and directing criminal activities. These new charges add layers of complexity to an already contentious and high-profile legal battle, and if Melly is convicted on these charges, he could face even more time behind bars. The authorities have recently brought forward 6 new charges against Melly, along with 2 other individuals who are allegedly involved in the illicit actions. Among the new charges are accusations of tampering with a witness, conspiring to tamper with a witness, and directing criminal activities from within jail. Furthermore, Melly is also facing charges related to the illegal use of communication devices while incarcerated, a claim that has been substantiated by evidence suggesting he used various covert methods to contact people outside the jail system to interfere with the case. This turn of events has placed an even greater sense of urgency on the trial as prosecutors allege that while behind bars, Melly was actively attempting to prevent key witnesses from testifying against him. The most significant of these individuals is his ex-girlfriend Mariah, who is said to possess crucial information about the case. In addition, YNW Juvie's father has spoken out in interviews, confirming that Melly used coded language to refer to Mariah and others when discussing them with his associates. The new charges are not only related to Melly's attempts to intimidate Mariah, but also to his broader efforts to influence the trial's outcome through criminal means. One of the most damning pieces of evidence that prosecutors have presented is the phone call transcripts. According to the authorities, while incarcerated, Melly allegedly made phone calls from jail where he instructed others to pressure Mariah into remaining silent about her knowledge of the case. The prosecution claims that Melly and his associates used covert means to convey messages to Mariah and other witnesses, including passing notes through intermediaries, pedestrians, and butlers. Melly's 12-year-old daughter, Olivia, survived the crash. While the rest of the family was killed, several witnesses, including passing notes through intermediaries. These notes reportedly contained threats and coded language that sought to intimidate people and prevent them from speaking out in the trial. Melly's ex-girlfriend Mariah is said to be a key witness for the prosecution, with her testimony believed to have the potential to significantly impact the outcome of the trial. Reports suggest that Mariah had intimate knowledge of Melly's actions surrounding the double murder and may have witnessed events that could implicate him. As the authorities claim that Melly's efforts to manipulate her into staying silent could have been a deliberate attempt to protect himself from further legal consequences. Additionally, witnesses reportedly overheard Melly using secret codes when discussing Mariah and others in phone calls, which adds an element of premeditation to the accusations. One example, cited by prosecutors, involves Melly allegedly referring to Mariah as Rihanna during phone calls, a name that could have been used to keep their communications discreet while avoiding detection. In a separate instance, prosecutors allege that Melly used the name Rock when referencing his baby's mother, who also appears to have been involved in his efforts to interfere with the case. The use of code words in these conversations indicates that Melly may have been acutely aware of the legal ramifications of his actions and was actively working to circumvent authorities' monitoring of his communications. The extent of the alleged conspiracy to obstruct justice raises serious questions about Melly's involvement in organized criminal activity and his willingness to go to great lengths to prevent key individuals from testifying against him. While the evidence presented by the prosecution seems compelling, Melly's defense team has fiercely disputed the allegations, suggesting that there may be a lack of concrete proof to substantiate claims of witness tampering. Melly's mother has been particularly vocal in defending her son, stating that he has not had the ability to freely communicate with the outside world while incarcerated. According to Melly's mother, he has been denied access to phones and has been subjected to strict monitoring that makes it nearly nearly impossible for him to make covert phone calls or engage in illicit communications. She has gone so far as to question the validity of the evidence presented by the prosecution, casting doubt on the idea that Melly could have orchestrated these alleged tampering activities from jail. However, prosecutors remain adamant that Melly found ways to communicate secretly with his associates despite these restrictions. Investigators claim that Melly utilized contraband communication devices or relied on outside intermediaries to pass messages to those he sought to influence. The authorities have also pointed to phone call records, prison surveillance footage, and testimonies from other individuals involved in the alleged conspiracy as evidence that Melly was actively directing criminal activity from behind bars. This evidence is expected to be a central component of the prosecution's case as the retrial unfolds. The stakes have never been higher for Melly, who already faces the possibility of life in prison if convicted of the original double murder charges. With the addition of these new charges, prosecutors are seeking to demonstrate that Melly not only committed the alleged murders, but also took extreme measures to manipulate the legal system and silence those who could potentially incriminate him. If Melly is convicted on the witness tampering charges, it could result in an additional life sentence, compounding the already significant consequences he faces. For many, the case has become a media spectacle, with the rapper's fans and detractors alike weighing in on the legal drama. The added charges of witness tampering have fueled further speculation about Melly's guilt or innocence, with some questioning whether he is truly responsible for the actions he is accused of, while others believe the evidence against him is irrefutable. The retrial, which is set to take place in September, will undoubtedly be a highly contentious and closely watched event, as it could shape the future of the rapper's career and his life behind bars. As the trial approaches, both the prosecution and defense are preparing for what promises to be a dramatic and high-stakes legal battle. With the additional charges of witness tampering and conspiracy, Melly's fate appears more uncertain than ever. The outcome of the trial will not only determine whether he is convicted of the double murders, but also whether he will face an even lengthier sentence for his alleged efforts to obstruct justice. As the legal proceedings unfold, the world will be watching closely to see how this complex and high-profiling case ultimately plays out. Melly's mother recently spoke out, saying her son's rights are being violated. She points out that Melly hasn't been convicted of anything yet, and even other inmates who have been convicted still get to use the phone, send letters, and receive mail. However, she claims that Melly's mail is being held back and he's not allowed to use the phone. She believes the reason for this is that authorities might have proof he tried to tamper with witnesses, and they're holding that evidence for his trial. This only adds more mystery and drama to the already tense situation. September Judith this year King revealed she feels heartbroken and helpless for her son since he's not allowed any human contact in jail. When you saw Melly's statement just saying how he's been hurt, how he's scared for his life as a mother, how did that make you feel? It's heartbreaking. It made me feel completely helpless. Rowler Sheriff's Office definitely needs to be investigated. I mean, they are making up their own rules. We tried to go to court about this situation. The judge really doesn't have. Melly's mom recently spoke out about how he's being treated in jail, saying that the prison seems to make up its own rules and doesn't answer to anyone. She even mentioned that there was a hearing about the way he's being mistreated, but she doesn't think it's fair. This situation caught the attention of Charleston White, who had a very different reaction. Instead of showing support for Melly, Charleston actually seemed pleased that Melly wasn't getting special treatment. He said, "I'm so happy he's in jail getting mistreated." His comments have sparked more controversy and left people divided on the issue. You take a life when you take a life, homie. You ain't got a right to complain about a mothering thing, about being mistreated when you done chose to play somebody. And with Melly's case taking such a toll on his mother, we saw Boozy step in to see how she was doing. Was she real, bro? You know she real. She's stressed out. I heard she real. And I reached my hand out to him, bro. Cause I'm real. Yeah, I reached out to him, bro. I met his mom, and she a good woman. However, Melly's latest hearing showed how he's been feeling. He walked into the courtroom looking very angry and with no haircut, but his mood changed when the judge started talking about releasing him from jail. It was reported Melly has to make an informed decision about who he wants as his lawyers. He's been sitting in our jail for over 2,100 days, which left everyone, including Melly, surprised. No, I don't. Let me repeat myself. Mr. Dion's has to make an informed decision about who he wants as lawyers. He has now been sitting in our jail. Melly's legal team is asking for at least a day or or two to make a decision on his case, though the final timing depends on when the investigation ends, which is up to the sheriff's office. Meanwhile, the new judge has made it clear he's frustrated. He can't believe Melly has been stuck in jail for so long without being convicted. In fact, the judge told the prosecutors they need to give a strong reason why Melly shouldn't be released. This has put even more pressure on the situation, and people are waiting to see how things will unfold. Or he would release him on bond, because the latest holdup in Melly's case now is that they've been investigating one of Melly's lawyers. Raven Liberty is being investigated for allegations of witness tampering as the rapper awaits a retrial. But what's concerning is that she might not be actually getting investigated. And that is just another way to delay Melly's trial. But in an attempt to get Melly out on bond, his lawyers brought up this evidence from the original trial where Melly's texting his ex-girlfriend. He told me that men were chasing him when the crime happened, and it sounded like someone was after him. I asked if he was okay and where he was, and he said a car was coming up behind him, so he was trying to hide. He mentioned that he thought the people might still be out there. I kept checking in, asking if he was alright, and he said he was. Then I asked about Sack and Juvie, and he responded, "I'm not sure if they're in the car, but I think the situation was tense, and it was clear something serious was going on." Makes it seem that Melly was actually being chased by rival street members, but further helping Melly's case is no firearm was even found for the crime either. So the first thing is, I didn't have a Oristimo, so I can't know which I'm going to use in order to replicate any of my tests. So I can't make tests for disextermination because I don't know what was used, okay? Raid Portland's home, where they found papers detailing what the jurors looked like and where they sat in the courtroom, making it look like not only were they witness tamper, but things are getting even more serious for Melly and his team. YNW Portland, Melly's co-defendant, was arrested Monday night and is now being held in a Miami jail. The arrest is due to an outstanding warrant for witness tampering. This warrant, which we confirm comes from Broward County, covers a period from April 10, 2023 to July 23, 2023. According to the warrant, Portland, whose real name is Corlin Henry, along with others, engaged in actions to mislead and influence another person with the goal of tampering with the case. This development only adds more drama and tension to an already complicated situation. Cause or induce them to withhold testimony. The warrant continues. The alleged witness had been summoned by the legal process to the jury trial of Jamal Demons, aka YNW Melly. The dates and the warrant are important. Jury selection for Melly started in mid-April, and a judge declared a mistrial on July 22nd, the same day the warrant claims Portland allegedly tampered with a witness. DJ Academics was completely surprised that they even attempted this. To keep it real, this is sloppy. Portland, you gonna have the things are getting even more strange. They found a notebook with juror information at Melly's place, which is a huge mistake. It's like having surveillance footage playing in your DVD player. Just hard to believe. This all led Boozy to speak out, saying that the feds are doing everything they can to keep Melly locked up. He pointed out that every time they think they're done, they find something new to use against him. It's clear the pressure is mounting, and it looks like they're not giving up anytime soon. Melly's situation has gotten even worse, and some people feel like he brought it on himself, but now the authorities are adding even more charges. What's raising eyebrows is how they seemed to wait for the right moment. They waited for a law to pass before moving forward with his trial. Melly's been in jail for around 2 or 3 years, and many feel they could have taken him to trial much earlier, but they held off until that new law was in place, and just a few months later, they finally started the trial. It's clear when they really want someone, they'll find a way to make it happen. They want you, man. Just don't see how he didn't get a BN after Miss TR. Yeah, that made me like, God damn, yeah. Like after a mistry, that doesn't happen, really.